think on their feet. We have the labor industry constantly complaining that the sort of graduates that they get are not able to fit in or do the job. They have to keep doing trainings over and over again. So we have identified that gap. And that is one of the reasons parents who now can afford it will prefer to send their children abroad to get that quality education, which is okay if you can afford it. But now we have a problem in our system, which is we lack quality education. Our schools are no longer up to date. They are not at par with international best standards, not anymore. And we want to solve this problem. So what's the solution? It will start, like Tope said, from the top, policies. Now you want to serve. Nobody asked you to come and serve. So we need to, stabilize this. Nobody asked you. You decided, okay, this is my country. I want to come in and change some things for the betterment of everybody. You are supposed to make some sacrifices. That's the only way we can get people, because when you do not feel the pinch, it's easy Mariah, please let me land. It's easy when things are happening to people around you and it doesn't affect you personally. When it affects you personally, when I know now, like Mariam was saying before we came on, that if BC knows now that she wants to change the educational system and she wants to become the local government chairman, and I know that there's a policy or a law that says once I take that position, my children will not school abroad, I will ensure that the school that they are going to, things will happen, things will change. Let me give you some statistics. The national budget, 2021 budget proposal to the National Assembly, we had 13.0 trillion budgeted for next year, and we have just 742.5 billion allocated to education, which is just 5.6%, the lowest allocation since 2011. So there's a steady decline. You will not ask people not to send their children abroad. But as policymakers, if we really want to change this, we need to start so that we can effect this change.
Okay, so there was something I was going to talk about, because there's always this perception that we have a horrible curriculum, and I've been argued over and over again that Nigerian curriculum can compete anywhere in the world.
Yes.
From the educational sector, they tell you the curriculum is at par. The problem we have is the delivery and assessment. We don't have teachers teaching it properly, and we're not properly assessing them, so the children are thinking, as you have said. So I think we can help if we can get somebody to come and either verify what I've said or not. If we can be convinced that we can push that narrative, that our curriculum is because many children who receive that learning go abroad and they're starved. That's one. No.
I will argue with you. I will argue with you every day on this. We still have schools that teach typewriting. How
I don't know where those schools are.
They are university.
We talked about it on the show. We have schools that teach typewriting. So
typing and shorthand.
Till now. So how updated is that curriculum you're talking about?
That school is not going according to our curriculum. That's
secondary school, university level we're talking about.
No, it is left for the policymakers to ensure that the curriculum is at par. And how do you do that? Current trends are emerging every day. You won't do So 2 years ago.
I think what Mariah is trying to say is that there is a updated curriculum. But the schools are not doing it.
Some schools are not doing it.
So that will take us back to what Afe Babalola says, that we have some schools that are illegal. So it's not just in structure, it's also in things like this, what they are teaching people. And NUC needs to sit up and making sure that those schools are identified.
I also wanted to answer you. You know, when we always sit here and say Nigerians, when they go abroad, they do better. The educational system here is tailored to take care of the very intelligent children. What about the children who are the creatives, who do not even understand? No, they are creatives. They don't even understand the school system. Absolutely. Are we ready to take care of them? And that's why we see that the A stars, the A students in our schools, they don't do well here. The people who employ them are the third class people.
I get that point. You're very correct. So you teach a child biology because you expect the child to become a doctor. Really, you should be teaching biology to educate the child on how the body works. So the child can have. So that's what they do abroad, where they just teach you. So, for example,
that's what we do.
No, for example, now my commissioner wishes an example where in a Nigerian, if they tell you to draw, they draw an eye. Nigeria will tell you to label every single thing, right? Now, in abroad, they just should give you two eyes and tell you which one has an issue. Because if you know the one that has an issue, you understand the features. You already understand the features. So that teach you to understand, they teach you to understand the eye, not to label the eye. They're two different things. So it's just that, so the curriculum is there to teach you the eye, which is the curriculum. But it's the delivery of it and the assessment. That's what's not making that child understand. That's a different thing. So coming back to the issue to our leaders. Because the argument I was making with you during the break was that I am a leader. I have money. You've checked my my code of conduct bureau. I've certified me that I have 10 billion naira in my account, sitting, chilling.
Yes.
And I'll say, because Nima, Tokwe, BC are saying that, now young people, please go into politics, join. I said, okay, well, my child is in secondary school, let me to go and join politics. And then I go and support them. And I go in there to do my work as a politician. You now tell me I should send my child to Nigerian school because I've volunteered my time, expertise, experience to become a leader in Nigeria. Is that fair? That's the question.
So, yes, I think it is. Here's what I'm going to say. It is unfair to expect that people that might have money but are enjoying the perks of office will not be willing to take the full haul of the sacrifice necessary to build the nation they say they want to build.
I don't understand.
So when you become a politician, support the ideal sense is I have gone into office, I desire to solve the problems and serve this country. Of course, it is sacrificial. Yes. If you decide you want that, you want to get into that office, then you make the sacrifices necessary. We need to make it unattractive to be political. We need to make it unattractive to have political position. We need to know that anybody that says I want to go there is making huge sacrifice. That way, as it is right now, many people don't even trust our leaders. We don't trust our leaders. We don't believe in the sincerity of their purpose being there. And so it involves a way to win back the trust of the people. And there is nothing that would the day that I have to eat, when you cook a meal for, okay, this is the meal I'm giving away to my security people, this is the meal Oga would eat. The day when we decide that every meal that we are cooking in this house is the one Oga would eat, you will see that the soup will have orishirishi inside.
Right now, you are doing very well. You are building a business, right? A business success. Tomorrow, they encourage you to become maybe a politician. And you now tell them, because I'm a politician, your children will not go. So that dollar you are saving.
I will not go into politics.
Now today you're not going into it. But there'll be a time where young minds like yours are needed to change. And they say, no, please throw yourself into the ring, and because we need your intelligence, we need your ability, your maturity. So would you now say that dollar that you're saving, that's what you're trying to build now? You now say, sorry, my children cannot go to school abroad because I'm now
if
I'll answer a question after this break. I have this caller. I'll come to you. Femi is a whole for a while. Femi, are you there? I'm so sorry, Femi. Please forgive me. Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with this conversation.
She'll put her mouth.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
The north is so beautiful.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our two TV
àwọn kan wà tí wọ́n bá kú tọ́jọ́ kú wọn ò tí ì pé wọ́n á papòdà síbòmíì.
Is that how you're gonna say it? Bó ṣe wá kọ̀wé ránṣẹ́ yìí pé òun fẹ́ rí mi kájọ fojúkojú yìí kò yé èmi o.
Bó ṣe pín ẹ̀rí ẹ̀mí lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àyà mi sì sọ kí.
Torí kí ni?
Àkọ́yẹ́ kọ́ wọn tó jẹ́. It doesn't take a year to cause the change we need. Actually, we exaggerate, we underestimate what can happen within 1 year, and we overestimate what can happen in 10 years. Within 1 year, with a team of all the National Assembly executives knowing that we have to eat this soup. This soup called secondary school university, we must eat it.
In a few months.
The bad school, the same way, the letter, do you know how many months the Queen's College School wrote letters, the PTA wrote letters to the Ministry of Education, to the minister, that this school, we have issues, so people are falling sick, there's some things that are dilapidated, and it wasn't acted upon. When all of us know that this soup, we must eat it, then we must ensure that we put all the right ingredients within it, and you will see major change in months, because everybody will now sit up and do their work. We are not lacking resources, we are lacking management, adequate management of the available resources. So if we manage it well, everybody is doing their job, you will see massive improvement in what is already on ground, because what is on ground is not bad. It's just because we don't take it serious that made it seem to be getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting worse. Femi, are you there? Hello, Femi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good
You're
morning.
live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, morning to talk, DC, Mariah, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. And one thing that we know that I would like to say is Nigerians are very smart people.
Yeah.
Whether we school here or we school outside Nigeria. Have you ever noticed that Nigerians here, when they travel out, even if they school, if they probably had their university education and they travel out, they go out to be the best outside there. So it shows that we are very smart. I've been in office, I've worked with people that school outside Nigeria. The only thing they have that is better is the fact that they are more exposed. They are not smarter. They are not more intelligent. In fact, people here, the only thing we have here is that we have a lot of people that are not, a lot of guys that are not serious. But if you can get the serious ones here, they are very, very good. They perform better. And I think this said something about training. The truth is, there is no how you bring people into any company that you not train them. It's the core of every company. You have to train people how you work in your company. It's different from how you work in any other place or any other client. So yeah, whether they school abroad or they school here in Nigeria, when they come in, they have to be trained. So in that place, on that aspect,
all right. Thank you very much, Femi.
Yes,
comments on the...
Yeah, I wanted to say that The problem we have with our educational system is not like it's that bad. And I know Miriam wants to highlight all the good parts of our educational system. We, all of us here, except you, we schooled in Nigeria. It's not that bad. But there's a very important crux of education that we are missing out, which is the highest level of intelligence, and that is creativity. Till we get it right, no matter what we do. Nigerians will travel and go there and do well with the conducive environment, with everything given to them. You see that we are naturally smart people. Nobody's arguing that. And our government likes to, harp on that to say that, hey, but you people do well when you travel out and neglect what they're supposed to do. We do well when we travel out. Are we innovative here? Is our educational system allowing us to solve our problems here? That's how you know that your educational system is doing well. If you can solve problems, if you go to schools and you see lecturers coming up with things and they're solving problems. So hold on, that crux is handling the creative part of that child. Now, the children who do excellently well here are the book-smart children. The people in the middle, those ones who are actually the innovators and creators, how God has made them to be, are usually neglected because of the way our educational system focuses on paper qualification, paper test, ability to recall. Memory and recall is the lowest level of intelligence anywhere in the world.
And they're the stars
here. They are the stars here. And that's why we can't innovate, and that's why we can't create. So if we can harp on that, and that's what happens when they travel. So you see very dull children here, when they go abroad, you see them excelling because those people find a way to connect with that creativity of that child. That is what I'm fighting for when it comes to quality education. Till we get that right, we'll just be doing book smart, paper smart. So it's not helping us.
So from what you're saying, there's a large chunk of young people that are not getting the best of the education because our educational system is focusing on the A+, A class ones who are book smart. But this group here, which are more, are not getting from this education system what they want because they just go out and there's nothing for them.
Yeah,
they fail
the book
examinations, but they're actually creative people who are smart in other ways. I get your point. Yes, Mara, let's get a few more comments.
I just wanted to add that I know that maybe someone listening who does not live in Nigeria will be thinking, my God, there's no education in Nigeria. It's horrible. It's not that bad. There are different levels, and I know that the private sector has stepped in many ways to, block, to take care of some of those gaps. But for those of us also who schooled here and who schooled in the public system as well, we can say that, it worked for us and also provided sort of like a firm foundation for when you get to travel abroad. So you are equipped also to be able to work under, tough situations and you have resilience because of that. But the only thing that's the problem right now, that while we're having this conversation, is really about delivery, as you mentioned. It's about the execution of what it is that we have, the maintenance of what it is that we have. And also, to add to that, is the reward system. We need to find a way to better reward people in the educational system, students, people that make children that excel in education. We need to find a better. Do you want to take a call?
Yeah, I want to take a call.
Let me just.
All right, let me take this call from Lara. She's holding for a while. Lara, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Educational system in Nigeria is a big one. My own opinion, for every policy maker, you want to serve us in this country, your children must attend the school system in this nation. There's no two way about it. You are coming to serve. So there's a sacrifice you must give to serve. And the sacrifice that you must pay is for all of us to be in this system. Any other way, my sister, is no go way. It will not work.
All right. Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Lara. Mary, I'd like you to take up on that because, finish up with your point.
Okay.
I'd like you to take up.
Okay, so to finish up, I was going to say, the way that we reward. And another thing that I find that is a major problem, as you said, we learn to cram, we learn to regurgitate what we have read, but we don't understand, how to apply. So you would have gone through university, finished with the 2-1, but you're unable to write an application letter. You're unable to interview properly. So those are the things that I think we need to incorporate when we are, you know, in our educational system. Abroad, they have a lot of summer jobs and things like that. They find themselves working. Yes, you find you're working in the labor market while you're in school. You understand the language of when you get out of school, because no one is going to sit down with you and be asking you demand and supply directly like that.
So those are things you have to find how to apply. This is based on what this caller just said, and the data you gave us, 12,000 people, children. Let's just say pata all our leaders, 2,000. Their children, out of these 12,000, 2,000 belong to our leaders. 10,000 normal citizens, we the people, are sending our children. Now, the problem is that 172 billion is being spent. Now, are you going to tell we the people that we should stop taking our children, but to support the Nigerian economy? Because it's one thing, education sector is a different matter. But if you are asking your leader to be as patriotic and sacrificial, that you're a leader now, and you're a Nigerian now, please let your child say you're a leader. You're a Nigerian. Please, let that money, let it stay in Nigeria. Can I also ask you, as a people, the same to make them make sacrifice?
But Mariah, that's not the problem.
Let me come.
It was me. Sorry. That's not the problem. We want to spend our money where we get value.
That's it.
You don't even need to ask us. If there's value there, if there's value in Okokomaiko, I will take my money there. Simple. That's what the private citizen is going to do. For a message, we're trying to send a message, and we're trying to build we're trying to make things better. The only way you can do it is by those who have the power and the authority to make a difference. And those who have the power and authority, they may just be few in number, but they have a lot of influence and they have a lot of impact. So that is why we're asking them. And you know, it will not be, and I don't want us to see it like, let us punish these politicians for daring to be politicians. That's not what this is about. This is about, let us ask the politicians to look at it our way. Sir, this office has provided you with some perks, has provided you with some
ability to solve the problems.
You know, can you take advantage of that office and the perks that it affords you to help make a lasting impact? Yes. Because of your influence, you're able to take your child abroad, but that is just one child. Can you use your office to make sure that this will be something that affects many other children apart from your children? That's what we're asking.
A note I took was that we're losing so much money to education, tourism, and making nothing back. You know, before you even mentioned that, that's the crux of the problem. We have shortage of dollars, and we have a lot of people are sending their children abroad, but we're not making anything back. If we were making money, if we had other areas in the educational sector that people are coming, and it is easy for us to create this. Our art is beautiful. I went to Yabatech, and we have the arts department, and we used to have foreigners come to study what we did in our woodwork and what we did with our metal works. Go to Benin. The University of Benin can create a major educational tourism from our art sector alone. They look at our art abroad. We're bringing them back. I'm saying that we can educatively, the minister can say that you can take your money abroad. You see, this money will make ×3 just on art alone. And they will create a system that will bring educational tourism to Nigeria for the sectors where we are good. A willing mind will find 1,000 ways, and a willing mind will find 1,000,000 excuses until they are willing. And what makes you willing? You have no choice. If you leave me inside this room and say, find a way out, Mariah, my nails will become claws. I will dig my way out of this place.
Can we then, so that's just 1%, because if you look at the number, I can't value the money that will come in. But we're talking about 172 billion that has gone out. Now, art is not going to give 172 billion. That's one. You see, let us be realistic.
So what we give?
Let us just say that. And the point I'm trying to make is that the government has to, just like you said, be creative. There has to be other avenues of bringing back this money. It's not through that art. Because I don't know how many universities have that opportunity to sell 172 billion worth of art. That's one angle. The point I'm trying to make is that if all of you have exported your children abroad, can those of us that went before come back? The few batches that went before, and they come back, and because the truth is that we all finally go, how are we going to bring back? They come back to build the economy. Come and start invest in the agricultural sector, invest in education. That we're talking about, invest in healthcare.
That's another level. But there's this level where we used to have a lot of children, even from secondary school level. We used to ship them abroad to boarding schools abroad. But I hear that the numbers have dropped. Of course, with the increase in the dollar rate and everything, many people have brought their children back. But you know, we're not giving the private sector kudos enough. There are people building schools and making sure that they building an educational ecosystem that sort of mimics what you can find abroad. So your children are here and they're schooling here.
But getting the same quality.
Yes, and then you're spending that money here. Nigerians don't want to just go abroad just for going abroad's sake. They're going abroad because they're looking for value. And we're saying that if you give us that value here, we'll leave our children here. Children are schooling here, primary schools, secondary schools, in the schools that they feel best will best capture
You haven't answered my question.
What's the question?
The question is, you and I are demanding and asking our leaders, because you become leaders, please don't tell your children to go abroad. So you are a human being, to stay here. I'm not saying me. I have the ability to take my child abroad. Once the child finishes abroad, let me too. Then the politician to tell Morel, bring back your child to Nigeria to come and work, because both of us are being sacrificial, they're being patriotic. I'm not taking my children abroad. Your own child that went abroad, let him come back and invest.
Right, the problem is that you're dividing them into two. The leader is still the same Nigerian, the same person, the same one person. We're in this together. This is not about sending your child and you staying back. We're not punishing anybody. I'm saying Nigerians are already making sacrifices. Private citizens are using their money to build schools, to create good schools for people to stay here.
It's not everywhere.
So that's the way that they're also making their sacrifices. They can use their money, go abroad and do schools abroad.
I'm not spoken since you.
Yes, unfortunately, we have to end this segment. I'm sorry, this is not we have to end at this point. But we can't end this conversation. We need to obviously bring it back up because it's a going concern. You know, Nigerians obviously will continue to send their children abroad until the educational sector is revamped. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to other segments. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Are you...
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Flash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC Communications story.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup? Check. Are the scripts on the prompter? Script? Check. Are we set in the PCR? All team in place? PCR? Check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights on. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission.
Yes, so we have Sam Olu says, yes, Nigerians are very intelligent. I traveled to the UK and I'm currently doing engineering role, which will require me to have a first degree in engineering in Nigeria. But here I am with a degree in political science, working as a project planning engineer. In fact, I funded my training personally and I follow up training on YouTube and Udemy. Somewhen Ojo says, leadership is not by force. In fact, we should only allow those who really want to serve the people to do so. Having said that, a leader should be ashamed when their children are schooling in another man's country.
Talking about that, somebody sent a message, says, I hope you see this before the end of the topic. Says that, did you see a picture over the weekend where the VC of a university in Nigeria traveled abroad for his son's graduation?
Yes.
And yes, he's a leader in the educational system. I didn't see that.
I saw the picture.
I saw the picture.
Yes, and then he explained that the child did his first degree here in Nigeria and went abroad to do his master's.
Which is standard, so you can't blame him for that. But I think, but you see, hey,
let me just take one more message. Rolake Oluwatobi Loba, Oluwatobi says, we're all guilty of this. An average Nigerian wants to promote the goods and services of other countries rather than made in Nigeria, either cars or tourism. Definitely, it will affect all sectors because there is also a higher level of unseriousness and negligence in all government parastatals, not just educational system. And no one has been held accountable because corrupt minds rule. The same way government neglects road construction because elites don't supply them, we also only revive our economy if we are willing to change our mindset and we are empathetic.
Fantastic. So this just tells us it's all of us.
Yeah.
We are all guilty of this. Okay, let's move on to our next segment. So barely weeks after the Nigeria Labour Congress warned the federal government against flouting the agreement on the electricity tariff increase, the IMF, that's the International Monetary Fund, has called on the federal government to completely remove not just electricity tariffs, but also remove fuel subsidy. And joining us on the show, on this segment, is Martins Arogie, who is a partner of the Energy and Natural Resources Services for Kleinveld Piet Marwick Godela, KPMG. Yeah, in Nigeria. Goodness me, I could have just said KPMG.
Yes, you should have.
Yeah. And he's currently the supervising partner for the team providing tax advisory, compliance, and regulatory services to clients in the power industry. Thank you very much for joining us. You know why I'm laughing? Last week, right, I told our scriptwriter that please always write out the full name. Because I'm like, you just put the NPC. What does NPC? Tell me what it is. No, she's going to write. Listen, Madam Writer, it's KPMG. Nigeria. You ain't got to say. Anyway, welcome to the show. Okay, so concerning this issue of taxes, you know, I mean, Nigerians, we don't want to pay taxes, we don't want to pay tariff, everything is just going crazy. Me, I have an issue with labor, it's my own personal issue with labor. But in your view, do you agree with IMF? IMF is saying remove you have to remove subsidies completely. And increase the tariffs. And else is saying, don't you dare, because people can't afford it. How do we find a middle ground? What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, it's a very interesting topic and situation, if I may say so myself. The tariff issue is more like the chicken and egg situation. What comes first? I don't typically agree that Nigerians are not willing to pay the proper tariffs, because if you check what exactly is our real cost today, of generating electricity, it's probably higher than what the tariffs are. Most of us have generators in our house. We buy diesel or fuel, which isn't particularly cheap. We have on speed dial the number of one generator repairman, Mosuru or Bashiru. who is constantly coming to our homes. If it's not servicing, it's changing one part, and the like. So if you look at the actual cost, you will find out that at the end of the day, we're probably spending a whole lot more than what the tariff numbers say. So in a sense, I think that we can afford to pay more. But I think where people have typically struggled is what exactly am I paying more for? What's the quality of service? And what's the guarantee that if I begin to pay so much more today, I'll be able to pack up my generator and say I can wholly, reliably assume that I would have power for the majority of time. If I was running a small business, if I had a barbering salon, for example, I would want to pay more and get away with my small generator, because even the impact on the environment, we just finished COP26. So there's a whole lot that those generators do.
Go ahead, Lucy.
Yeah, so Nigerians are worried about paying more because, first of all, they do not even understand the enormity of the problems we have. And the discourse over time have said that they're not even able to, give out more than they generate. So they have a problem of distributing and a problem of generation. So they generate, but they're not able to effectively distribute. If we pay more, do you think that will help us solve that problem so that we have more power?
Obviously, because if you look at what we have today, generation capacity is about, available capacity is about 3 times what we distribute. So yeah, we can generate 3 times more than what we currently get in our homes today. So if you imagine having 3 times more power, it will give you an idea of how much reliable it will be if we're able to distribute all that we generate. And it's a question of investment in infrastructure. And you can only make that investment when you have money. And what people have argued is that the discos should have come with money when they bought it to make that investment.
Wow.
It's a fair argument, but there's also a place where it also breaks down. How long would they have been able to do that, given that they've not been able to also recover the cost of
money?
Yeah, because if I go to a bank today and say, can you give me loans so that I can invest in my distribution infrastructure, what they would say to me is, show me your P&L.
Yes.
And when you then see, which is something that happened for years, where the cost at which discos were being asked to sell power to us was generally lower than the cost at which they were buying it from the generating company. Yes. It's not a viable business model. Clearly. So it's people say...
that's my worry. We don't want to see abroad. Electricity anywhere is expensive. You go, they tell you, please don't turn on the lights during the afternoon because they're paying crazy. Turn off the gas when you're not using it because they are paying tariffs, high tariffs. Well, here, even in West Africa, they pay what they pay for electricity, what they pay for fuel. It's almost double what we pay in Nigeria. But why? Is it that we're spoiled or we just don't want to pay tariffs?
Again, we have to also step back a bit and see what's the background to all of this. We've never really paid for power. It's always been very, very highly subsidized. So there has to be a mindset change. When we privatized the sector, one thing everybody was very conscious of was that you couldn't just move Nigerians from the place where they barely paid for tariff to a place where it was then cost reflective. You had to come through, go through a stage. Yeah. So it was when we introduced the multi-year tariff order, we had a 15-year plan at that time to get to cost-reflective tariffs. So there will be several minor and major reviews, so we can slowly get there. Then during that time, discos were supposed to make also steady investment in the quality of infrastructure. So by the time you get to that point where we are saying pay cost-reflective tariff, I can also see the impact of all that investment.
Labour will not carry placard. Let me go on a break. Come back and come talk with Auntie Mariam. Stay with us. You want to do that small incremental one. Labour will carry placard. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy Eastplash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
àwọn kan wà tí wọ́n bá kú tọ́jọ́ kú wọn ò tí ì pé wọ́n á papòdà síbòmíì.
Is that how you're gonna say it? Bó ṣe wá kọ̀wé ránṣẹ́ yìí pé òun fẹ́ rí mi kájọ fojúkojú yìí kò yé èmi o.
Bó ṣe pé ẹ̀rí ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùnmọ́ àyà mi ti sọ kí.
Torí kí ni?
Àkọ́yẹ́ kọ́ mọ pé jẹ́rẹ̀ ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùnmọ́ yọ mọ̀ mú yẹn rí flashback jọ́ ìkéyọ̀ mọ́ tó mọ́ ẹgbọ́n mọ́.
àwọn kan wà tí wọ́n bá kú tọ́jọ́ kú wọn ò tí ì pé wọ́n á papòdà síbòmíì.
Is that how you're gonna say it? Bó ṣe wá kọ̀wé ránṣẹ́ yìí pé òun fẹ́ rí mi kájọ fojúkojú yìí kò yé èmi o.
Bó ṣe pé ẹ̀rí ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùnmọ́ àyà mi ti sọ kí.
Torí kí ni?
Àkọ́yẹ́ kọ́ mọ pé jẹ́rẹ̀ ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùnmọ́ yọ mọ̀ mú yẹn rí.
Okay, continue with this conversation. Yes, Tokwe had a question.
Yes, so I was going to ask you, we've heard the story over and over again. This conversation is not new. Like, since the moment they created Discos and Dencos, the story has been that until we have cost reflective, we will not have good power supply. And you've analyzed the chicken and egg. But one of the issues I've always heard when we speak to people from the Discos is that there's a huge loophole of many Nigerians that are not captured, that are consuming power, but they're not captured. How, from your data analysis point of view, how would you best believe, how do you best believe we can approach this in capturing everybody into the power grid and then charging cost-reflective tariff? How do you think it should be done in a way that would be attractive to investors investors, at the same time, not detrimental to us as Nigerians?
Okay, it's a difficult question. Now, collection losses have always been very, very huge. Collection losses is primarily people who consume power but just don't pay for it. So people have talked about a number of options that are available to address them. The most popular one you would hear is metering. If I meter everybody, then obviously I would be able to reduce to a considerable extent collection losses, because once you have a meter, if you don't load your meter, obviously you won't have power. But it's Nigeria we're talking about here, where people have the capacity to bypass those meters. And these schools have also complained significantly that. And it's one of the reasons somewhat that they've also held back from making that particular investment. If I had very limited resources, and I was looking to where do I deploy this money? Do I deploy it into metering? Would it reasonably impact positively my collection losses? But when you have people with the mindset that can call one man somewhere and bypasses the meter, it doesn't help you. Right. So they talk about, okay, why don't we meter transformers rather than individual homes? So we know how much power a community receives. So it then becomes the duty of everybody in that community to ensure that they are watching out for themselves and saying who is bypassing. Because if I read your entire meters and I see that the value comes to 100 and I supply 200, therefore there is a 100 gap, I would spread that 100 across everyone. So everybody then gets to pay for the guy who bypasses. So it then becomes your responsibility to ensure that nobody bypasses.
Madam, let me come to you.
Yeah, okay. So anytime we talk about taxes, tariffs, I just always feel that the Nigerian story is one of there's really no hope, you know? And I don't like to go away feeling that way. I want to believe that there's something that we have not yet discovered. There's something that we have not yet explored. If, you know, all things being equal, what would you say one thing that Nigerians can do when it comes to tariffs and paying their taxes and not bypassing? What is it that we can do to make sure that it's something that it will work here in Nigeria?
Nigerians?
Nigeria for Nigerians.
Okay. Now, this is a very different conversation, but it ties into two things that I'm very passionate about. One is the concept of responsible taxation, where everybody understands that they have a responsibility towards government, towards their fellow citizens, towards the community in which they live, to do the right things when it comes to taxation and when it comes to paying your fair share. And that concept for me is extremely very key. It applies not only to individuals but also to companies. Having that concept and knowing in your mind that I have this obligation to be responsible in the way I relate with my community. And then the second one, which I think is what is probably lacking in Nigeria, is the concept of justice. People are able to get away with a lot of wrongdoing without any consequence. If you do a short poll, how many people pay taxes, you will find out the bulk of people who pay taxes are people in paid employment. And it's not because they want to. It's because
they collect it from source.
Source. So if I'd given you all your money and said, at the end of every month, just walk up to the nearest Lagos State Internal Revenue Service and pay the tax yourself. You probably will say, I will do it tomorrow.
Never do it, yeah.
Tomorrow never comes.
But we pay tithes.
But you're right. That's the so. But you see, there's this huge informal sector that's not being captured in the economy, which I agree with you. But I want us to also touch on subsidy because we're talking about electricity.
Yes. So the IMF is advising that we have to take out subsidy, because it's affecting our fiscal deficit, and we need to do it now. What do you think about taking out subsidy entirely? How do you think it will affect Nigerians? Is it something that we can survive? Because I know that there are some areas that they charge close to reflective tariff, at least there some areas on the island, and the money charged there is supposed to use to cushion the effects for the poor people that are not being charged cost reflective tariffs. So do you think if we take out subsidy that the average Nigerian would be able to pay for power? Is it possible?
Okay, the way the power tariff structure has actually been designed is to allow for some sort of cross subsidy. So where some people pay higher because they probably can afford to. In our own case, industries are supposedly supposed to pay higher than us because there's supposed to be some sort of cross-subsidy. So we use the excess from them to cover, even though it still doesn't, nobody still pays cost-reflective today. But when we come back to the issue of subsidy, whether it's electricity or fuel, because the IMF was primarily talking about fuel subsidy, which is estimated to reach about 3 trillion this year, according to the IMF. About 2.9 trillion. So it doesn't look like I'm exaggerating. 100 billion is significant money.
Yes,
so subsidy has always been a very topical issue in Nigeria. At the point, government has said that they are taking off subsidy, but no one considered one thing, that the price of crude would also go very high. And when that went up, and compared with the challenges we had with the Naira and the exchange rate, it also then had a cascading impact on the landing price of the refined products in Naira. Nigerian, but the question people have always asked is who and what actually benefits from the subsidy?
They say it's the poor.
Yeah, but is that actually really correct?
Wow.
You know, you see, this subsidy, we are kind of exasperated. Everybody is. But you see, what I would like, you as a KPMG expert, a tax expert in this whole thing, what would you advise we can do to remove the gridlock between the NLC and government on the issue of subsidy? Because even when Nigerians say, okay, let's close our eyes, remove the subsidy, we're not even doing it again. And say, fuel prices go to 500 naira per litre, whatever it is. Mr. Waba and his team will say, no, you dare not remove subsidy. But we know that because of this small cabal, these small markets that are benefiting from this subsidy, this economy will not grow. So how do we find a middle ground where NLC understands? Because NLC is insisting that build refineries, don't take it abroad. Here, that's the only, but that's the long-term thing. What are the immediate solutions that we can do so that both of us meet halfway?
3 months solution.
I think the first one is engagement. We need to constantly continue to engage NLC. There is no other way to do it other than try to explain to them what the consequences are. It is not feasible, it's no longer viable. If you take 3 trillion naira, there is a significant impact that would make on Nigeria's economy today. Our infrastructure deficit is very, very high. 3 trillion naira would make a huge impact. There are states that are struggling to pay salaries. If that 3 trillion naira cascades down to the states, it's also going to have an impact. NLC is about workers. Workers not being paid because
afford it.
Because states can afford it.
But the Baba cannot pay for his fuel because it's not 500 naira per litre. So how do we then?
So one of the biggest challenges that I believe we have with the subsidy is that our subsidy is not a true reflection of our consumption. And that is the corruption that we have been unable to solve. And because we cannot solve that corruption, we have decided that let's just put the cost of everybody on everybody. But the real issue that I want you to address is, am I right? is because you have the data. I have the layman sense of I've been on this show, I've read the papers, I've listened to everybody, and from my analysis, the 1 trillion naira that was spent on subsidy is not a true reflection of the fuel consumption of Nigerians. We are merely enriching the subsidy, the fuel people collecting the subsidy money, while there are cases of proven that the oil was collected, subsidy was paid on oil that did not come into Nigeria.
Yes.
Vessel was checked and there was nothing in the vessel and we paid. Yes. So obviously we are just empowering the people and we have decided as a nation that this cabal, we cannot deal with them. They are too strong. So the best solution is we should remove the subsidy and leave them alone. But are we not still going to put Nigerians to pay the same cabal at the end of the day?
Okay, unfortunately, I can't comment on layman's sense like you put it.
Is this money a reflection of our consumption of fuel? What we pay to our subsidy?
What I can say to you is that the money is what has been reported and it's what we've paid.
And you work with what has been reported.
So that's what's been reported. But I don't think at the end of the day we should dwell on that, because at the end, if subsidy doesn't exist in the first place, then there's nothing to fuel, there's nothing to support. So if those numbers are not correct, if the consumption numbers are not correct, if we're not paying subsidy, whether we consume 100 or we consume 1,000, it doesn't matter. everybody will still pay for what they currently consume. Now, the issue around whether Nigerians can afford it, again, it's also something that I'm not particularly sure, because at the end of the day, how much fuel does the Baba actually consume? If we get the power sector working properly, it won't need to consume that much fuel. So it's all working in the,
so if, for example,
circular economy at the end of the day.
3 trillion, right? And I put out of that 3 trillion into power sector. Maybe I empower the discos or whatever it is, or we generate and whatever we're able to distribute. Then the Baba eventually would be able to pay something affordable for his, he will still be paying high for electricity, but you have to pay fuel again, because we need NLC to understand this cycle. Because if we don't remove this subsidy, it affects everything, because their own worry, and NLC, let me not totally condemn them. They are fighting for that barber shop owner, because the barber shop owner cannot afford 500 naira per liter. That's their own fight. But can we therefore tell NLC that this 3 trillion we want to save, we will invest X amount into power? Now, with NLC trust that the government indeed will invest that money into power, that's another issue of distrust, where they feel that you'll be promised us for X amount of years and nothing has happened.
Yeah, but that's the point. These things should not be based on whether I trust you. You can put in place a process that ensures that if we agree that these savings will be put into this particular use, what process have we put in place to ensure that we can monitor and guarantee that that's the use in which it is put into? It's not a word of I trust you, you trust me.
Uncle, were we not hearing this shopping? Were we not in this country?
We shouldn't be discussing trust.
Shopping is a reflection of this matter. Remember Jonathan's
Yes, now we shouldn't be discussing trust, but we have a system that people have found a way to circumvent over and over again, that when they tell us that they have put system in place, we know that the system will not work, which is why we have to now find a way to trust that the system will work. So you are saying system, of course it should be fact-based, but this is Nigeria.
You see, this topic, I really don't like talking about it. Let me tell you why, because we just go round and round.
Yeah.
Pay the subsidy. No, don't pay the subsidy because we don't trust. It's constantly the conversation that we have. All I want to know is that if we remove subsidy, what will happen? Would it work?
If we remove subsidy and then we then determine that we are able to then invest that savings in projects that then help us receive the benefits in other sectors of the economy, then yes, it would work. So it's not just about removing subsidy and then keeping the money somewhere or putting the money away.
So Nigeria will be better for it if we stop paying subsidy?
Yes.
It looks like.
It looks like. We're not sure. We need to be sure. So what about private investors? Okay. If we take away subsidy and investors understand that they are able to control the market the way they seem fit, because for you to get into business, you want profits.
Exactly.
Do you think that will also help our system? Yes,
I can say that because nobody wants to really put money in a market where you can't guarantee. If I were going to a bank today, one of the first things they will say to me is, show me your financial model. My model will be based on certain assumptions.
Yes.
One of the things I want to be able to say to the bank or to my investors is that there is a guarantee that this will not change over a period of time, whether it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But if I have the mindset that whatever you are putting in front of me today, who knows what will happen in 6 months' time? They might reverse this, they might change that. So then it becomes a bit more difficult to then decide to invest in that.
Let me just ask you a general question based on data that you probably should have as a KPMG person. What's the data you can come up with on how much government is losing to policy flip-flop? If you were supposed to put a figure to it. Okay, what policy flip-flop is, let me not say policy flip-flop, let me say change in policies. Our change in policies. CBN will come tomorrow and say, oh, we're stopping cryptocurrency. Tomorrow, the CBN will come again and say, okay, BDCs can do this. Okay, every new policy that, according to me, seems reactionary. What is the impact on our ability to have long-term FDI, investments coming to the country?
Unfortunately, I can't put a number to the loss, but what I can say to you is that I would think that it will be significant. Again, anybody who's looking to make an investment, one of the key things for them is certainty. I want to be able to know. And if you look at the petroleum industry and the petroleum industry bill and how long it took and the impact it had on additional investment in the sector, what people were primarily saying is, I don't care whether it is good or bad. I just want to know. I just want to know
what it is now.
So if I am confident and say this is what it is, I can then plan around that. If I then have a structure that says, I can mitigate the impact of this because I know that this is what will happen over the next 5 to 10 years. And then I'm confident that, yes, I can mitigate it. Then I come in. If I don't think I can mitigate it and thrive in the midst of it, then I don't come in. But I just need to know. So it's very, very important to investors that there is certainty in the marketplace.
Our MTF, our medium-term framework is actually a medium-term framework that we can stand on, you know, and then we have long-term policy that we know we can stand on. But that's not the case in Nigeria.
Do you have any messages?
Fair or not?
Honestly, it's a sad topic.
You know, because sometimes you just feel like, you know, we're not going forward.
Yes, going round. It always feels like that when we talk about tax, tariff, subsidy.
Then we try.
The irony of it all is, and to be very honest, it's a function of who we are as a people, not necessarily as a government.
Lead the people.
Not necessarily as a government. It's a function of who we are as a people. Everything from tariffs, taxes, subsidy. You talked about NLC now and all of that. So people still need to understand that. And it also ties into the conversation you were having before I came on air.
Education.
Sacrifice.
Yes.
There is a degree of sacrifice that is involved in nation building. And that sacrifice is not limited to only those in government. Even those of us outside of government need to also be willing to make that particular sacrifice. There is no nation that has grown without people making a degree of sacrifice.
Okay, I think we can end on that note. Thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure having you on the show today to share your thoughts on this issue of past talks, on this unending talk of subsidy, because this remove is not removed. Today is not removed. Either way, one day we'll remove the subsidy. That's all we can take on the show today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.